Hey, and welcome to English Coffee House. I'm Daria.
And I'm Chris. We're really happy you're here with us.
Get comfortable.
And let's start with today's conversation.
I was thinking about hometowns this morning.
Oh, really? What made you think about that?
I saw an old photo on my phone. It was a small street near the house where I grew up. Nothing special, really. Just a little bakery, a bus stop, and some trees. But when I looked at it, I felt very calm.
I know that feeling. Sometimes a very simple place can carry a lot of meaning.
Exactly. It is not always about famous places or beautiful buildings. Sometimes it is just one corner, one shop, one sound.
Yes, for me it's the sound of the train near my neighborhood. When I was younger, I heard it every evening. At that time, I didn't think much about it. Now, if I hear a train at night, I feel something warm inside.
That's lovely. Was your hometown big?
Not very big. Big enough to have busy streets and schools and cafes, but small enough that people knew each other. If I walked with my mother, she always met someone she knew.
I like that. My hometown was similar, not tiny, but familiar. I could go to the center in 10 minutes, and I knew which streets were quiet and which ones were always full.
Did you like growing up there?
I did. When I was younger, I wanted something bigger and more exciting. I thought my town was too quiet.
That sounds very normal.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. When you're young, quiet can feel boring.
And then later, quiet becomes expensive.
Exactly.
Very expensive.
Suddenly, you want trees, peace, and a shop where the owner knows your name.
And a place where you do not need 40 minutes to buy bread.
Yes, that too.
My hometown had this old grocery store near our apartment. It was small and a little messy, and somehow they always had everything. Bread, milk, batteries, chocolate, cat food, notebooks, everything.
Those places are magical.
They really are. And the man who worked there remembered what people bought. My father went there so often that the man started preparing his favorite cigarettes before he even spoke.
Wow.
Very small town energy.
I love that. In my hometown, there was a woman in the bakery who always gave me one extra cookie when I was a child. She never said much. She just put it in the bag and smiled a little.
That is such a sweet memory.
It is. I still remember her hands. She moved very fast, but she looked calm. I used to think adults like her knew everything.
And now?
Now, I think she was probably just trying to survive a busy morning.
Probably, but still for a child, that kind of person feels very important.
Yes, very safe somehow.
That's one reason I love my hometown too. Not because it was perfect. It wasn't. But I felt held there.
Held is a good word.
Very personal.
It really is.
There were problems, of course. Some parts were noisy, some buildings were ugly, and in winter everything looked gray. But even that gray feeling belongs to my memory now.
I understand that. Long for a place is strange. It doesn't mean the place is perfect. It just means it became part of you.
Yes, and your body remembers it. The air, the light, the smell after rain.
The smell is such a big thing. My hometown had this mix of fresh bread, cold air, and sometimes traffic.
That's a very honest combination.
Very romantic, right? Bread and cars.
A classic love story.
Truly.
My hometown smelled like wet sidewalks after rain, and in summer there was this park near the river, and the air felt green. I don't know how else to say it.
No, that makes sense. Some places feel green even before you see the trees.
Yes, exactly.
Did you leave early?
I left in my early 20s. I wanted more opportunities, and I was curious. I wanted to see what life felt like somewhere else.
And when you left, did you miss it right away?
Not right away. At first, I was excited. Everything was new. New streets, new people, new routines. But after some time, I started missing very small things.
Like what?
The way the sun came into my room in the afternoon, the corner near my school, a little food stand near the station. And the strange thing is, I didn't even love that food stand when I lived there.
That always happens. We leave and suddenly we become emotional about places we ignored for years.
Yes, memory is very dramatic.
It really is.
What about you? Do you still go back often?
Not as often as I would like, but when I go back, something in me becomes softer. I walk more slowly. I notice things I don't notice in the city where I live now.
Like what?
Doors, gardens, curtains, and windows, old signs on shops, little details. I think when I was younger, I looked forward all the time. Now I also look around.
That's nice.
And then notice what changed. Some places are gone, some people moved away, a few old shops closed. That part is always a little sad.
Yes, that could be hard when the place in your mind and the real place are not exactly the same anymore.
But I also like seeing what stayed. There's a bench near a small square in my hometown, and it's been there forever. I don't know why that makes me so happy.
Because it feels loyal.
That's such a good word for it, loyal.
There's a bridge in my hometown that I always visit when I go back. It's not beautiful in a special way, it's just a bridge. But when I stand there, I feel like all the years between then and now become very small.
That's beautiful.
It is a quiet feeling. Not sadness, not happiness exactly, just connection.
I think hometowns can do that. They connect different versions of us.
The child version, the teenage version, the adult version.
Yes, and sometimes those versions feel very far from each other.
But then you stand in one familiar street and they all come closer.
I had that feeling last time I visited. I walked past my old school and I could almost feel my backpack on my shoulders again.
Wow.
It was so clear for one second. The weather, the noise, the feeling of being late for class, everything.
That's amazing. Memory can be very physical.
It can, and funny too, because a minute later I was thinking, why didn't my backpack feel like a bag of stones every day?
School bags were never normal.
Never.
They were full of books, dreams, and pain.
Mostly pain.
Mostly pain, yes.
Did you have a favorite place in your hometown when you were a teenager?
Yes, a basketball court behind a school building. It was not new or very clean, but my friends and I spent so much time there. We played, talked, sat on the ground, did nothing. Hours passed so slowly there.
That sounds perfect.
It was, not because something big happened, but because life felt open. We did not know much yet. We had time.
Time is such a big part of it. In your hometown, especially when you're young, time feels different.
Slower.
Much slower. Summer felt endless.
Yes, a summer day felt like 3 days.
Now I blink and it's October.
Exactly.
My favorite place was a little hill near my house. It wasn't really a hill, more like a higher part of the street. But when I was a child, it felt huge. I used to sit there in the evening and watch people walk home.
Alone?
Sometimes alone, sometimes with a friend, sometimes with my brother. It was peaceful. We didn't need much, just snacks, some cold juice, and time.
That sounds very gentle.
It was, and I think that is part of why I love my hometown. It taught me that life does not always need to be exciting to be good.
I really like that.
I still forget it sometimes.
Me too. I think many adults do.
We start looking for big moments all the time.
And then an old street or a small bakery reminds us that small things can stay in the heart through years.
Yes,
Do you think you could live in your hometown again?
that's a difficult question. Maybe for a while, maybe not forever. I love it deeply, but I also changed.
Same. I love going back, but I'm not the same person who left.
And the place is not the same either.
Right, so maybe the relationship becomes something new.
I like that idea. Not trying to return to the past exactly, just meeting the place again as you are now.
Yes, and maybe loving it in a more adult way.
Less ideal, but maybe more real.
More real, definitely.
There's also something very moving about knowing a place has seen all your phases.
That's true.
Your awkward years, your quiet years, your hopeful years.
Your bad haircut years.
Especially those.
We owe a lot to the towns that survived our bad haircut years.
Honestly, yes.
Mine really showed patience.
Mine too. Incredible strength.
Very brave streets.
Very brave. I think people sometimes talk about home like it must be one perfect place, but for me, it's more layered than that. It's memory, people, routine, weather, sound, all mixed together.
I agree. And sometimes home is also the version of you that existed there.
Yes, that's why even ordinary places can feel emotional
A bus stop can break your heart a little.
or heal it a little.
That too.
Do you think you could live in your hometown again?
That's a difficult question. Maybe for a while, maybe not forever. I love it deeply, but I also changed.
Same. I love going back, but I'm not the same person who left. And the place is not the same either.
Right. So maybe the relationship becomes something new.
I like that idea. Not trying to return to the past exactly, just meeting the place again as you are now.
Yes, and maybe loving it in a more adult way.
Less ideal, but maybe more real.
More real, definitely.
There's also something very moving about knowing a place has seen all your phases.
That's true.
Your awkward years, your quiet years, your hopeful years,
Your bad haircut years.
especially those.
We owe a lot to the towns that survived her bad haircut years.
Honestly, yes.
Mine really showed patience.
Mine, channel. Incredible strength.
Very brave streets.
Very brave. I think people sometimes talk about home like it must be one perfect place. But for me, it's more layered than that. It's memory, people, routine, weather, sound, all mixed together.
I agree. And sometimes home is also the version of you that existed there.
Yes, that's why even ordinary places can feel emotional
A bus stop can break your heart a little.
or heal it a little.
That too. I like that hometown love is often quiet. It is not always loud pride. Sometimes it is just this soft feeling of, this place knows me,
That's exactly it.
even if you leave.
Even if you leave.
And maybe, especially then.
Yeah, maybe especially then. Thanks for spending this time with us.
We really enjoyed having you here and sharing this conversation.
Keep listening
And we'll see you soon.
here at English Coffee House.